One thing you need to be aware of is that when you have dynamic creation of particular parts of your JSX hierarchy, it's important that React have enough information that it knows how to update the DOM based on your changes, okay, and how to do it efficiently. So let me show you an example. Let's get rid of some of this. And let's add in here an unordered list. So we can put in, of course, list items like, list item 1, 2, and 3. And let's just take a look at this. It should be fine. Yeah, so that looks good. Okay, so when we look here at the updating, nothing changes, right? We've gotten rid of the date. None of these changes I re-render. Now let's go ahead and let's generate this dynamically. Okay. So first off, let me get rid of the show math because we don't need that anymore. So I need to go ahead and create this. So if I create this as an array, let's show you what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and create, let's say, my list contents. Let's just say that's our list contents. And I'm going to go ahead and from that list contents create some list items here. So I want to create one that says list item 3, list item 1, list item 4, list item 5, and list item 9. Okay. I can go ahead and use the map function that belongs to arrays. So the map function takes a function. We'll call that function for each element in this array and then return a new array consisting of this function applied to every element here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use a arrow syntax. So I'm going to say, let's say, element maps to backtick list item E. Okay, so once I do this map, this returns me an array whose values are the strings list item 3, list item 1, list item 4, list item 5, list item 9. So let's just say this is my list items. And this is a constant. And now I can go ahead and replace this with my list items. Let's try this. And that's great, except I show a busy E, so that's no good. So what happened here? Because I need a $sign for my backtick. Okay, so that is interesting, but my problem is I just have a bunch of strings here, right? So these are strings that say list item 3, list item 1, list item 4, list item 5, and list item 9. I actually want LI elements. So why don't I go ahead and I want to return list items, right? So in JSX. So this is valid JSX. Unfortunately, the way it's written right now, these would just be characters in here. I need them to be evaluated as JavaScript, so I need to put curly braces around it. And now we've got our list items, so that's good. And again, let's just make sure that as we go through and do our update, yeah, these aren't changing. Let's update this to every 2 seconds, just make it a little quicker. All right, and again, I could go ahead and refactor this and inline the list items here. Okay. These are all identical. Now let's see what happens if I change the list contents. So let's go ahead and have a, so let a counter equal 0, and we'll go ahead and increment the counter every time we render. So in fact, let's rename this. And by the way, you can rename too consistently using the refactor. So let's say this is a render count. So it'll replace all occurrences. So what I want to do is splice in a new value. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put in, so we first put where we want to put this item. So I'm going to put it at render count. Let's say render count mod 456. Okay, so it's going to wrap around. It's going to insert at a particular location in there, and we don't want to delete any elements, and I want to add the value $88. Okay, so what's going to be happening here, and actually let's just print out the value of list contents. Okay, so if we look at the console, it's going to be, it's an actual array. That's not what we want. We want to add the value 88. Okay, and notice we are getting these warnings, which is interesting. Each child in our list should have a unique key property. We'll come back to that, but let's look at that. So we got 3881459, 3188459, 3148859, 3145889, 3145988, and then 88 goes back to the beginning. So we're just basically moving this 88 through our list. Okay, you could imagine, if you will, you had a list of items that the user could change, and they're just moving it one by one. So moving it down, moving down, moving down, then moving it back to the beginning, and moving down, moving down. What I want to look at is the elements here, okay, as we're doing this change. So when we change the first one, it actually changes all of them, okay? So let's see, what the heck is going on here? So what's happening is it's changing 2 of them, right? Is what it's figuring out it has to do. So it changes 3 and 88, and then 1 and 88, and then 88 and 4, and then 88 and 5 and 88, and then 9 and 88, and then it has to put 88 at the beginning. And so it somehow changes them. Okay. This is not the minimal amount it could do. It could actually just take the list item and move it. Okay. But the problem is it doesn't know which list items on the DOM correspond to list items here. It assumes that there's a key for every list item, and that key allows it to distinguish when we give one set of JSX and another set of JSX, and there are different, for instance, list items. It knows which list item in the original one corresponds to list item in the new one. So if we have deleted a list item, it knows which one is gone. If we've added a list item, it knows which one is new. If we've moved a list item, it knows which one is moved. So I want to go ahead and add in here our list item, but I want to add in a key. So key is a attribute that's not part of HTML, but it's something that's used by React. So my key is going to be, I need a unique value. Okay, that's really important. And it's a unique value that shouldn't change from one render to the next render. The default that's used is the index, which list item it is. And that's no good, because if I'm moving these items, as I was just now, that doesn't work. So let me go ahead and put in E as our value. because we know the way we've created this 3, 1, 4, 5, 9, and 88 that E is going to be unique. So let's first look at the console and notice we're no longer getting that warning. And then if we come here and look at how the updates are happening, so it's actually just changing the one list item by moving it. Let's just see if we can do a little better. Yeah, so it's actually moving it, which I guess means the unordered list in some sense is changing as well. So it's not taking these, 6 list items and changing the contents of them. It's actually moving the list item. So moving the 88 down, then moving it down again, then moving it down again. Okay. So that is the deal with keys.